So good afternoon all. Now I am audible.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So I am Ishwar Kumawat, and I am here to present that what topics we'll cover, and on the behalf of Company Content Consultancy, and about the Company Content Consultancy, it's registered under the Society of Registration Act 8060. What topic we'll cover? One in process control. In process control is IPQA and IPQC, which are in generally in pharmaceutical industries and all other industries also. Quality assurance department are there to assure the quality of the products. Now next we'll cover the process validations. Process validations means whatever the products we are manufacturing and what process we are using for manufacturing of that particular product. That particular process should be validated. So how we validate the product by using the process validations method. There are certain guidelines are over there to validate the process. We will discuss in brief. And further topic is that cleaning validations. Cleaning validations is also very much important in pharmaceutical industries. And next is our quality management system. In quality management system, we'll discuss the change control, deviation, incident, and kappas. And what is the change control? Change control means suppose if you want to change anything in pharmaceutical industry, we have to go through the some change procedures. Change procedures means what currently we are having, what we are proposing, and why we are proposing. So everything should be there with the risk assessment. And according to the risk assessment, we have to conclude the action plans, what activity we have to perform during the change control and what are the hurdles we have to be control. And deviation is nothing but if any procedure is deviated from the written procedure is called deviations. And incident management, and also kappa, corrective and preventive actions. If we found some gaps between our procedure and process, then we have to take some corrective and preventive actions. We'll discuss further in details. And next one is annual product quality review. Annual product quality review is also important in pharmaceutical industries to brief the all the details from starting material to the dispatch of the product and stability data of the product, each and every product. It's a requirement of the regulatories that particular part should be covered for cover in all the industries for preparation of the details review of the product, that is called product quality review. Next we'll cover in HVAC validations. Individual validations we'll discuss. And quality assurance or quality controls possible problems and fix. What is the quality assurance? What is the quality control? And what is the role of quality assurance? And during the processing in manufacturing areas, what the problems occur and how to rectify that particular problems, like in compression areas generally we check the in process checks for group weight, individual weight, disintegration test, and friability and other test. So during the testing, so whatever the problems are there, either the testing parameter are within the acceptance criteria or predefined specification or not. If it is not within the specifications, what the problems are there, we have to be identified and to be rectified with appropriate justifications. Quality testing tools and techniques. In pharmaceutical industries, they are having the separate department is quality. Its quality comes two things. One is quality assurance and another one is quality controls. In quality controls departments, is dedicated for the testing or analysis of the batches. Whatever the samples received from the manufacturing areas to the quality control departments, in quality control departments, different persons are there for separate testing on different equipments, and whatever the equipments they are using, they are having the separate SOPs for that particular operations. So we'll discuss later that particular part also. And some reference of guidelines. As earlier we discussed that IPQA, deviation, change control. So why and where it is written and why it is required. So all those things are recommended by the different regulatories, and they are having the different expectations for the industries. So whatever the things we'll discuss later also. And one more part is documentation. Documentation is a very vast part of the pharmaceutical industry. Why? Because document is very much important. Whatever the activity we are doing in the pharmaceutical industries, everything is recorded in documents. Even we are having the evidence that what the process we have performed, what the things we have done. Like suppose auditor are visited through the industries for some audit, and what auditor will ask? Auditor will ask for any documents. Like they started from the SOPs also. What SOPs are having with your organizations? From that particular document, they will start it, and if something is wrong, they give the observation, and that observation is having like in terms of FDA. If they are having some observation, they will issue the 483. So all those things we will cover in the documentation parts. What is the documentation? How to maintain the documentation? Like how to issue the document, how to archive that particular document, and how to store that particular document, and what is the retention period of the documents, and good documentation practices. In pharmaceutical industries, good documentation practice is very much important. Why? Because in general life, if suppose we are having some mistakes, just we will cut or destroy whatever things we are doing. But in the pharmaceutical industries, if anything is go wrong, we have to cut it appropriately, and just it should be justified with the reference documents. And SOPs called standard operating procedures, means each every operations having the separate standard operating procedures. It's very much important. Why? Because there are so many people are working in the pharmaceutical industries, and each and individual having should have the uniform and synchronized way to follow the procedure. So the SOPs give the instruction for all those who are doing the activity, like cleaning, operation, calibration, preventive maintenance, whatever the activity. So each and every one, whatever who want to do the activity, have to follow that particular SOP. And SOPs contain the different attachment of that particular SOPs. We give the reference, how to perform, where we have to record it, what is the flow, and the things in the procedure part for step by step procedure are available in SOPs and protocols. As earlier sessions we discussed that uh, earlier sessions we discuss keep we will means we have to qualify the things. So whatever the activity we are doing, suppose qualification, process validation, whatever, so some protocol should be there. The protocol is the guidance that what activity we have to do, and in that particular protocols we step by steps arranging the things, like what is the object of the process validations, what is the scope of process validation, what is the area of means where that particular protocols is applicable, and what is the important checks we will perform, and which types of sample we will send to the QC for analysis, and what is the result received from the QC, and based on that, all those things we have to conclude that either our process is validated or not. So where we have the guidance, we have the guidance from the protocols. Means before the execution of the any studies, we have to prepare the protocol, and according to the protocol, we have to perform the process. And after completion of that particular process, we have to prepare the report. So that particular part will cover separately. Now we'll discuss a little bit about the in-process quality assurance. What is the in-process quality assurance? Why quality assurance is important? So if we further we would like to discuss about the in-process quality assurance. So first of all, that we have to understand what is the quality. So we can define the quality as if customer is satisfied, means customer satisfaction is quality. When customer or patient means customer, why we are, if we are working in pharmaceutical industries, means our directly customer, patient is our customer, means when the customer patient trust on the medicine, we can call the medicine is quality medicine. So once we have to understand what is the quality, means customer satisfaction is quality. Why we are discussing much more about the quality? Why? Because each and every tablets of batches not go through the testing, means 100% testing of medicine is not done. If suppose 100% testing of medicine is not done, how we can assure that the our tablet or capsule or whatever the dosage form we are manufacturing is in the within the specification criteria? One more thing, most of the analytical tests are destructive. Means suppose we are checking the disintegration test, so we are using the number of tablets, that is 6, we are using for disintegration test, and that the tablets after the disintegration test means it's a destructive test, means we can't recover that particular tablet for further use. One more thing, all during the analysis in QC, all the impurities, whatever the generated during the process, whatever the generated during the raw material and during the finished products, we can't identify all these impurities. That's we it also called unknown impurity, whatever. So how can we reduce all those things? So next is our what is the next what we have to do control all those things. So we have to maintain that the quality to be built during the process. One things we can do, that is called quality to be built during the process. Means we have to assure the quality of the product during the process only. Once we will assure the quality during the process, the further obstacles can be be removed, or we can reduce the further problems. What is the way? What is the way by which we can build the quality during the process? So following are the build the quality in product during the process follows by following the GMP throughout the process. Means if we are working in the manufacturing area, then we have to follow the good manufacturing practices. Good manufacturing practices is the practice that we have to follow for good manufacturing of the products, and they are having certain guidelines for that, like 21 CFR part 211 EU guidelines, and other guidelines are there that how we have to follow the GMP. Control over the in-process materials. So we have whenever we are manufacturing any batches, so what is the flow of manufacturing? Once we have to discuss the flow of the manufacturing, suppose we want to manufacture, we are in OSD plant and we want to manufacturing the tablets. The our flow is started from the raw material to finished goods. Means in raw material, if we want to any manufacturing of the tablets, initially we have to procure the raw material. So we have to control over there that the raw materials, whatever we are procuring, it should be in the good quality, and it should be in good quality and having all the test result within the specification and predefined criteria, whatever we want for that particular raw material and excipients. And in that particular flow, next step is that after the raw material receiving or procurement at site and material will receive at site, initially the testing shall be performed by the QC department. QC department will perform the sampling, and after the sampling they will perform the analysis, and whatever the result of that particular analysis they reported in the report form, either report in they are having the some software or manual whatever. And nowadays, to when compliance point of view, in QC mostly they are using the LIMS software for reporting of that data, and that particular LIMS software is migrated with the SAP system. So the warehouse department can directly it's directly linked with the integrated with the SAP also. So after the analysis, the QC department will issue the labels. Either material is reject or either material is released. On the behalf of that release materials, if material rejected, then further testing or investigation will have to be performed, either it's failure at our side or at the vendor end. But if it is approved from the QC department, further dispensing activity shall be performed, and dispense material shall be used for further processing like sifting, granulation, blending, compression, packing, coating, inspection, and packing, whatever. And in that all that process, we have to be control the process. So how can we control the process? We can control the process by in between checks of the um, process, various checks during the in process. And whatever the checks performed by the individuals, it should be checked by the another person. Means it's called the checking system. Means doer and checker. Someone will perform the activity and another one will check the activity. Means if two people are checking, verifying the activity, will assure that whatever the activity performed by the single one, it's verified by other. It means whatever the activity and results are there, it is correct. And further is control over the product release for further step or stage. Means as we discussed earlier, that material should be released from the QC as raw material. And similarly, the in process materials like the granulations, if we prepare the granulations and the granulation materials is tested and released or not, that things we have to be issue or for further before processing the further steps like compression or capsule filling, whatever. In process quality assurance. What is the in process quality assurance? Previously, we are discussing the quality and how we have to maintain the quality. Now we'll discuss about the quality assurance, this role of quality assurance. So what quality assurance persons do? Quality assurance persons as fault findings means it's find the fault. If something is fault, the quality assurance will observe and it escalate to the higher management or departments. And zooming, the quality assurance persons will think and check the documents by visualization and by taking the data as a is something is okay or something is having the problems, and alert if something is going to be wrong on the basis of the current data. In that case, here can alert that now either we can correct that particular things or either we have to face some problem in further steps. Further is QA is working as a third eye. Why? Because whatever the users are doing the activities or always having the load, having the load for the means of they have to finish that particular activity. As just they are doing the things, we have to complete that activity. But QA are there for checking the things either it is correct or not. So it's working as a third eye also. And finally, we can say that the quality is assured by the QA. It's not responsibility of QA only. To assure the quality is responsibility of each, but QA is also responsible for that particular activity. And what is the QA? QA to assure that the product are consistently produced as per the quality standard and predefined specification. Suppose we are in the compression area, and during review of the particular PMR and BPR, if QA reviewing that particular document, so QA have to be verify that whatever the specification criteria or limit defined in that particular BMR, batch manufacturing record or batch packing record, and the limit defined in the that particular reference documents, and whatever the observed result, it should be within the limit. If it is not within the limit, then we are having, yes, earlier we little bit discussed that we'll discuss further in deviation change control, kappa investigation incident like that. So if it is not within the limit, we have to either go through the quality systems like deviation change control and the corrective action, preventive actions we have to follow. But for all those things, we have to investigate faster that what is the problem, what is the root cause. Once the root cause we identified based on the investigations, so according to root cause, we can take the corrective actions. It means we can remove that particular problem in future. There are so many guidelines that are suggesting or recommending that the quality assurance activity should be there during the manufacturing process. Like what are the guidelines? Which types of guidelines we are suggesting that we have to perform the quality assurance activities. So the some reference now we are in brief we will discuss that guidelines means schedule M is defined that quality assurance activity should be there from starting of raw material to finish of the batches, and in between sections like calibration, qualification, preventive maintenance, and all those things is also part of in process that we have to verify all the all the certification of the equipment and the process that before the execution of the batches like schedule. So now will discuss the guidelines. One is the schedule M, another is 21 CFR part 11. Next ICHQ7. ICHQ7 is also good manufacturing practices and European guidelines, EU guidelines. Now, what the schedule aim is saying, good manufacturing is that adequate control on starting material, intermediate product, and finished product. As earlier we discussed that the raw material means starting material for the manufacturing of the tablet and capsules. So we should have the adequate controls. Means when if we talk about the starting material is the raw material or excipients. So if raw material and excipients is received at our side, it should be appropriately tested. And if it is within the compliance level or within the specification limit, then we have to dispense for the further step. Otherwise, we have to be hauled over there. Like in intermediate products like granules and blends and compressed tablet, coated tablet, and imprinted tablet, inspected tablet, whatever the intermediate products. So what is the release criteria for that? So individual industry is having some release criteria after the manufacturing of that intermediate product. Either it should be compliance or on the basis of that particular compliance they release for the further steps. And for releasing for the further steps, they are having some software or manual process also that suppose we talk about the software, so some safe system in generally industries are over there that starting material is released, then the requisition for the issuance of the BMR and BPR and issuance of the material according to manufacturing of the batch and batch size. And after completion of the intermediate products, they are releasing for the further steps. Like if we prepare the blend, we release the blend in the safe system. So the releasing responsibility is of quality assurance department, and quality assurance department release the material based on the certificate of analysis of the intermediate stages. Certificate analysis is provided by the QC based on the result of observed of that particular products. Like finished products, the same procedure are followed. Finished product is collected from the packing stages, and the same analysis is performed by the QC department, and based on the satisfactory result, quality assurance person release the batches in the system or manual also. So what schedule M is saying that the one more thing, that the adequate in process control, calibration, qualification, and validations to be carried out. Means whatever the process we are using, there should some have the checks, in process checks, like in compression earlier we discussed, weight variation, group weight, individual weight, disintegration test, friability, like that. And calibrations means whatever the balance we are using, or whatever the hardness tester we are using, whatever the disintegration testers we are using, it should be calibrated and qualified. And the validation to be carried out means whatever the process we are using for manufacturing of the manufacturing of the batches. So the particular process should be validated. In validation stage means as per guidelines, we three consecutive batches we qualify for process validation batches. Uh, for details of for process validation, we will discuss further. And 21 CFR means, so whatever the we discussed, that schedule M, 21 CFR and EU guidelines, all those guidelines are just simply saying that we have to assure the quality of the product from starting material to finished product. Like 21 CFR is saying, 21 CFR Part 211 Section 211.110 is saying that sampling and testing of in-process material and drug products. What it means? We have to collect the sample and send it to QC for analysis. And ICHQ7 is production and process control. In production and process control means in Section 8, production operation means why like shifting, granulation, compression, blending, coating, capsule filling, inspections, packing. Time limit is also critical part of the manufacturing process, that and also it's directly impact on the cost of the company. That if overall efficiency, it depends on the overall efficiency of the product, equipment and products. If product is running on that particular equipment is smoothly, the time limits will the time for manufacturing process will be less as comparatively. If the some breakdown in the equipment is there, the time limit will be increased. In process sampling and controls, like earlier we discussed in ICH, earlier we discussed as earlier we discussed in 21 CFR part 211, and that in process sampling and controls, batches manufactured, contaminations controls means we are having some check of line clearance, and after the cleaning of the equipment and area, line clearance is there. And before line clearance, in some cases we perform the swab testing and rinse testing. If you don't have the cleaning validations, so cleaning validation is applicable at time of line clearance also. EU guidelines, what EU guidelines says, any necessary in-process control, environment control shall be carried out and recorded. Means whatever the activity we are performing, it should be recorded. So for recording of all those things, we are having the batch manufacturing or batch packing record. Means some batch document is over there to record the what activity we have performed and whatever the test we have performed and what is the result, observations, everything is recorded. Now we'll discuss about the line clearance. Line clearance is also important part for processing of any batches. If line clearance is okay, then the chances of contamination is will be the zero. Otherwise, there are so many chances of contaminations and mix up. So what is the line clearance? Line clearance to be performed to assure the following things. Why line clearance is required? Equipment area are free from traces of previous product or material or un unnecessary items. Means before execution of next batches, the user department means production and you have to perform the line clearance. Line means that particular lines where we have to going for the further execution or manufacturing of the batches. On the lines, one equipment is there and that particular area. So area and equipment, we have to verify that it should be free from the traces of previous product. If previous product will be there may be chances of contaminations, and if there is contamination and mix-up, that may directly impact to the health of the patient. So it is the critical concerns if we are not following the line clearance. So line clearance is very much important. Another one thing, so we have to verify the qualified state of the equipment, qualified and calibrated state of the equipments and instruments which are used in the manufacturing and packing activities. Why it is required to verify? As earlier we discussed, it's a clause of the guidelines that we have to verify the qualification and calibrations of the equipment instruments that we are using for manufacturing and packing and testing of that particular products. Corrective materials and quantity brought for the processing and packing. Once we clear the line clearance for equipment and area, we verify the calibration status of the equipment, and then we verify the material. Material means raw material or packing material where we are either in manufacturing. So if we are in manufacturing, we have to verify the raw material. If we are in packing, we have to verify the packing material. That particular materials we taken in the area, either it is in either it is correct or correct release material or not, or whatever the materials we received, either it is in line with that particular requirement batch or different materials. So material verification is also important, and it's part of line clearance also. What types of line clearance we followed means general cleaning verification. Area line clearance means the area uh, where where we compress the tablet is compression area, where coated the tablet is coating area, where packed the tablet is packing area, like area line clearance. Now equipment, whatever the equipment installed in that particular area, we have to verify. That is called equipment clearance. फिर container and clearing. Container and cleaning verification means so whatever the container we are using for storage of that particular material. In case of granulation and blending, we collect the material in one blender, and in case of compression area, we collect the tablets in SDP container having the capacity of generally companies are using the weight of the tablets in particular container, either is 10 kg, 20 kg, 15 kg, and it's requirement of the company that it directly not impact on the quality of the product. So, means if suppose the tablet in the capsule shape and the hardness of the tablet is very low, in that case if we'll fill the tablets in the container is more than the defined criteria, like company or processes suggest that we have to collect and storage the sample in 10 kg only, and if we are filling the 20 kg and 30 kg, there may be chances of breaking of tablet in that case. So the container verification also important, that which types of container we are using. Verification is nothing that we have to verify the cleaning of the container. Once we have to verify the capacity of the container, either that particular container is recommended by that particular base document or not. Material verification, as earlier we discussed, that material verification is also part of the line clearance, that what types of materials we are using, that particular material should be in line with our base documents. Means we have to verify the product name, product code, and size of that materials, what means like capacity and release, either material release or not. So material verification is important. And also one more thing is important during the line clearance, is also safety line clearance. Why safety line clearance is required in the pharmaceutical industries? Safety line clearance is important in the pharmaceutical industries. Why? Because in case of the granulation area, suppose one case I'm discussing with that, if we want to the sifting activity, in the sifting activity we put the raw material into the sifter, and some materials having the some have the property of static charge. In that case, if static charge will develop, there may be some spark, there may be some means prejudice maybe there, like some fire may be happened. So in that case, safety line clearance is required that the static charge developed by the equipment should be released by the providing the earthing to that particular equipment. So once we'll provide the earthing to the particular equipment, incident of fire may be reduced or prohibited. So safety line clearance is also important. What general checks for area line clearance? As earlier we discussed, then we check the area. So in area, what we will check during the line clearance? So during the line clearance, we check in the area, check the area status level. Initially, if we will go anywhere, what we will see? We will see the banner of that particular area. Suppose we are going in some colony. Once what we will read the instruction that what where we are means we have to check the status of the area. Suppose we are going in the compression area, so we have to check the status level. Either it is the compression area, that particular machine are there, the status of that particular area either under cleaning, either cleaned to be line clearance or under in process. If we are going for line clearance, in that case the particular area should be under under cleaning or it should be cleaned, means ready for executions. Other check is the differential pressure of the area. Why differential pressure is required? So differential pressure is required with the adjacent area that suppose in the OSD plant, the differential pressure means the pressure of the area and adjacent corridor. So in OSD plant, the corridor should be positive, means the pressure of the corridor should be positive and the area should be negative. So we have to check the difference between the differential pressure of the area and corridor. Ensure the proper gowning. Why? Because some industries are having the governing procedure in individual area, and some company are having this common corridor, and the governing procedure is common at before entering the corridor. So governing procedure we have to follow. We have to check. We have to ensure that the person who are working or will working in that particular area should have the proper gowning. Means should have the appropriate apron, and goggles and safety equipment should be there, and the gowning should not be wear and tear property. It should be clean and intact. Check the area is free from previous product. As earlier we discussed, the check the area from previous product. Ensure the temperature and RH is within the predefined limit. Temperature and RH is very much important for manufacturing of the any process in manufacturing area. Like in case of compression, suppose the product having the tendency to get the sticking in the compression area. That particular time we require the temperature and RH should be different from regular. Like generally the temperature is 20 degree to 20 degree to 40 degree, 20 degree to 20 plus minus 5 degrees are there, and RH is 60 degree and 40 degree as per requirement. And logbook for operation and cleaning records. So each and every area having the individual logbook for each operations, for operation and cleaning, for operation and calibrations of a balance, for operation of the equipments. So everything we have as we discuss now, if we will what we have to check general checks for equipment line clearance. As earlier discussed, the general check for area clearance. In case of equipment clearance, what we have to verify. To check the equipment status level and details, Details of previous product and current activities means some equipment having the recipe systems. So we have to verify either that previous recipe is not currently either that particular recipe is applicable or not. If it is applicable, then that is okay. If it is not applicable, then what SOP is applicable for that should be there. Check and ensure the equipment is visually clean. Ensure that the preventive maintenance means whatever the equipment we are using, it should be in state of the preventive maintenance. Within the preventive maintenance means each and every equipment having the frequency of preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is, if we say, the general servicing of the equipment and calibration and qualification status of the equipments. Same, we have to verify the logbook for the equipments like logbook for the calibration, operation, and cleaning. Now as initially we discussed what is the area is used for the manufacturing of the products in OSD. So what are the area now? That areas are in the flow. What is the flow of line clearance? What where we have to initially perform the activities means like initially in warehouse for dispensing activity, and in shifting for shifting activities, and for granulations for granulation activities means different types of granulations are available in the pharmaceutical industries like wet granulation, dry granulation, direct compactions. In the compaction, some rollers are used for compaction of the materials. Next is blending area. And blending area will mix the materials. Suppose the granulation activity performed in one lot, two lot, and three lot as per the capacity of the equipment. Hence, blending activity shall be performed by using all the total bean to mix the material appropriately. And after mixing of that particular material, the samples shall be collected by the QA persons, and some samples shall be sent to the QC for testing. And based on the result of that particular testing, that particular blend shall be allowed for further process or steps, or if it is not within the specification criteria, that particular blend shall be held for further investigation. Till the investigation blend cannot be used for further process if on the basis of the investigations, if you would like to for some testings, we can proceed. Next is compressions. In compressions, we compress the blend in tablet forms, and there are so many in-process checks we perform by the production persons and the QA persons. And coating operations are using for the coating of the tablets. Different types of coating is there. Generally companies are using the sugar coating. Nowadays sugar coating is very less using. The nowadays coating is used the film coating is generally coated 2 to 3% only. And the coated tablet further is inspected, either coating is appropriate or not, or some coating defect should not be there, like uneven distribution of color should not be there, some chipping of the tablet should not be there. The twin tablet, why? Because the twin coating tablets to meet together, it may be adhere to each other. So twinning observation generally are there. So verify that particular observations. We verify the either tablet is training or not. We'll check at the coding stage, means inspection stage, and after the inspection, we perform the checks is called AQL. Is performed for acceptance quality level. Acceptance quality level some guidelines is there. It's called the NC guidelines is there. National Standard Institution guidelines that single sampling plan and triple sampling plan. Normal inspection level, general inspection level. So generally industries and OSD formulations, they are following the general inspection level and double sampling plan and single sampling plan. Level 2 they are following.
having the criteria for percentage defect, imprinting, and will reach to the packing. There are different packing process are there, like tablets are packed for generally in US market the tablet is packed in the bottle, and in European countries the tablet is packed in the blister maximum. So packing activity is performed after the completion of the imprinting, whatever the last finished stage, it may be the compression, it may be the coating, it may be the inspection, or it may be the imprinting. And after that previous finished stage, the final stage will be the packing. Packing means primary packing and secondary packing. Generally, process controls, as earlier we discussed, the in-process checks is process controls. So in-process checks for all manufacturing and packing activity are being performed as per the batch processing report. What the checks we have to be performed, everything is mentioned in the batch documents for that particular stage or activity. Another one is the challenge test. Challenge test is performed for the checking the efficiency of equipment, either equipment is working appropriately or not. Like metal detector challenge. If machines having the metal detector challenge, so industries are having some parts of the metals like ferrous, non-ferrous, SS, and inert. That parts they are passing through the metal detector. So according to the observations, the metal means ferrous, non-ferrous, SS shall be rejected. So challenge test shall be performed for each equipment as per their requirement. And process runtime again the specified limit and batch documents. So do you have any questions? No, it's completed from my side.
No issue. So yeah, no issue. I think your presentation is good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your presentation is good, not an issue.
Okay, thank you, then.